Well, the Metro, even when it was in that big building, it started to change quite considerably in terms of its funding, I think, if my memory serves me well. They flourished for a long time and started introducing new things and things like that, and then providing afternoon tea for us and things like that, and then having a regular group. And I remember the first time the regular group started, there was a woman much older than me. I must have been in my 50s then, maybe. But she... her partner was 90 or something. I can't remember her name. But she was one of these... I remember as soon as she came, she started making tea for everybody. And the gay men would sit on the sofas. They'd get there before the women, and the men would sit on the sofas. The biscuits would be out, and they'd eat all the biscuits, and she'd be serving everybody's tea. And I remember challenging that and said, hey, don't do this, you know, come on, guys, you know where the kitchen is, you know where the coffee cups was. But she loved doing that, and it developed, and it was beginning to develop in that way, that the men would get there early, they'd take the best seats on the sofa, they'd eat all the biscuits, the women would arrive and make their own tea and coffee and so on, or one of the staff would bring in the tea and coffee and the men would get it all done and so on. And then it developed into more laughter, I think, because the challenges were acceptable, and then there were men that came that understood that. And then there was, I think, I don't know if it was Norman by then, but there was a lot of support, individual support for some people, because there was one guy I remember who was living in a sheltered scheme, two people who were living in a sheltered scheme. I don't know if he's still alive, but it was an Italian guy who suffered a great deal of discrimination. And I think Simon, who was with the Affinity Trust, was still involved somewhere with the Metro, went with maybe Norman or somebody from the Metro Centre to the Housing Association and started advocating on behalf of, I can't think of his name, it was very much an Italian name, not Andre. Angelo. Angelo, yeah, it was Angelo. He went many years, you know, when opening doors closed, a lot of people started going to opening doors from the Metro, I think. And Angelo had a really hard time because the warden at the Housing Association had told everybody in the project that they were having a gay man, forgetting that some of those people had grandchildren and lived in the neighbourhood and so on, and Angelo wasn't safe going out. You know, he got people shouting at him in the streets and things like that, and he was very unsafe. He was, you know, he'd be closeted inside the sheltered unit.